What's going on, everyone? Okay. So today we're going to go over a warm-up doc that I have. And then we'll get into some athlete film review if we have time. Okay. There's so many videos you can find on how to get faster. Sorry. Yeah. There's so many videos that you can find on how to get faster and how to improve your speed. The problem is, how do you implement these techniques? If you don't practice them every day, then you're not going to improve. If you don't practice them every day, you won't improve. And if they're not high quality, you also similarly won't improve. Now, I'm of the mindset that a sprinter's warm-up is the most important part of their programming and how they have the ability to practice speed drills over and over just through their warm-up. And there are professional athletes who agree, because they also feel as though their warm-up is one of the most important aspects of their training. And here we're going to review this Noah Lyle's warm-up and how much care and dedication he put into this warm-up. This is going to have been crafted from many years of running track, and he's going to have implemented drills that every track runner does, and then he's going to have drills that he specifically needs. And that's how I think the warm-up should be programmed. Inside your warm-up, you should have a ton. Like, warming up is about getting your muscles warm and flexible, getting your lungs expanded, and it's the perfect chance to practice fundamentals of sprinting and practice them in a way that you can repeat them over and over and over. So even if you don't have the best programming of your exercises, of your training, you should at the very least be getting in these fundamentals of sprinting within your warm-up. So let's see Noah Lyle's warm-up.
And how do I know when I'm having a good drill day? Okay, let's get into it. So the first drill is walking high knees. This is a warm-up into the drills per se. This is when you're going to touch bases with everything. This is what also getting your arms engaged. You want to just have the same front side as you are on the back side. So I don't want to see a lot of bending right here. That's not how it works. When you start bending your elbows, you start bending your shins, which means that they're going to land behind you, and you want it all to be in front of you.
Arms and legs are always in motion, always attached. So he's just getting through walking high knees.
Next drill is going to be a skip. Now we're adding a pace to it and getting a little jump here. Just going to be raising your legs and arms at the same pace. Think that you should be having a long leg extended out and landing in front of you and dragging behind you. Truthfully, you want to do this just like your A skip. You're going to come up, except you're going to strike down and pull it underneath you. So instead of landing and dragging, it's a coming straight down underneath and ripping. You know, you want to be active with it. You don't want to expose your leg out here. All right. Just a little to the sell you into the next step. You don't want to be jumping up and down. You want to be forcing power into the track. All right, now we can start the drill. Well, we lost the mic, and you will get better. You can't get better at something if you don't try to repeat it multiple times. So the first thing is you're going to choose the foot that you want. So we're going to do fast leg right. That means that our right leg will. So if you need a beginning motion into the track. again, that's without your body being turned on. Again, my mic fell off. 2, 3.
Okay, so there you see his warm up: walking high knees, A skip, B skip, C skip, high knees, karaoke, fast leg, right and left, fast leg alternating. What is a double fast leg? I didn't see.
So we're going to start with the right side.
Double switch. Then he has what's called advanced drills.
Now what I'm going to do is body being turned on. That's without activating your core, your glutes, your hamstrings.
This one I actually like a lot. It's just like walking, but with more force. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So there's Noah Lyle's warm up. And as I said, I've created a warm up of our own. So this warm up will have almost everything that he does. It will have it in maybe a little bit of a different way, but nonetheless, still a high quality warm up that I've formulated in my whole time running. So this is a very, college professional level warm up here. So let's see. The very first one is very simple. From A to B, when you walk onto the track to when you should be ready to put your spikes on, that's what this sprinter's warm up will be. So the very first one, very simple, is a jog. As we're going over this jog, what I want you to notice is we have a cone here. It's about 15 meters from that cone, and a cone here, which is about 15 meters from this middle cone. The jog will be 30 meters total. I'll jog forward, and then I'll do a nice relaxed jog back. And then I will repeat this 3 times. So another jog forward. And then this time I'm going to do more of a football style squatted backwards run. Work on those knees over toes here. And then for the third, we just have another jog. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, so if you notice, I have 3 cones as I begin my jogging that I set up before. The first cone, then a cone here halfway between at 15, then a cone here at 30. So I will jog the full 30 and then backwards jog 30. And then I'll just repeat that 2 more times. So a total of 3 times. And each time I kind of change up my backwards jog just to do things a little different. So I have a nice squat here, almost knees over toes style, football style. For my final jog that I will do. And then I'll end with a nice jogging kickback. Now, this warm-up, full warm-up will be available for you. So you see that, okay? So next in this sprinter's warm-up, we have 30-meter skips, forwards and backwards. So same setup here, my cones. Now I'm just skipping. And what we want to pay attention to on our skips is that the foot is staying dorsiflex and contacting under our hip. So we're still just getting warm, but we're already working on the fundamentals of sprinting here. Then we'll have a nice backward skip. We'll repeat this for a total of 3 times, just like the jogs. I'm going to slow it down whenever we begin to go forward, just so I can show you what I mean here. So these are very lackadaisical skips. I should be tall, actually. I should be striking under my hip. If you can see, I'm hitting in front of myself, but give myself some slack because this is just the warm-up. Okay, so I'll repeat that 3 times. And then, let's see, After that, you have your side shuffle 30 meters down and back. Now this will only be done one time, the side shuffle. Nice and relaxed, nice and open. And I'm going to get my shoulders a little loose here. And I'm going to make sure that I face the same direction. So if I go down facing the camera this way, I'm going to go back facing the camera this way. The same would be true if I went to face the cliff here. I would just stay facing the same way so that right leads forward going this way, left leads forward going back. And then we're going to have our joint mobility. So I'm going to find a space to set up. I happen to think it was a good idea to step right next to this trash can. And I'm going to do ankle circles, get my joints a bit open here. I'm going to do left leg going around this way 10 times, and then I'll go around this way 10 times, and then I'll do right leg taps just down 10 times. And then I'll go ahead and go in a circle here this way 10 times. And then I will go back in my circle this way here 10 times. Then we'll have our hip circles. So a little bit different than the back circles that we'll go over in a second. The feet are a bit wider than hip width apart. And I'll go in a circle 10 times this way, and I'll go in a circle 10 times that way, trying to rotate my hips around my base of my feet. And then I'll go ahead and step wide. Now, in my mind, whenever I was doing this in person, that step was a bit wider than what you're seeing here, but I'll try to put my legs wide, and now I'll go for my back circles. So we moved from the hip to the back, do nice large circles, again, 10 each direction. And then I'll do my knees. If you've ever seen people doing this is what they're doing. It looks a little bit strange, but it is for your knees. So I'll try to rotate my feet together, knees go around the ankle, and then back the other way. And then I'll go ahead and work on my ankle here again, my feet. You'll see I'll plant my toe in the ground, and I'll go around my toe 10 times that way, and then 10 times the reverse way. I'm trying to form circles, right? The best way to warm up your joints is through a circular motion. So this joint mobility is all about taking all of the joints and moving them in circles to get the blood flow. So for this foot, I've switched feet, planted my toe, going around each way. Okay, so that was the joint mobility. Now we'll get into some fun stuff here. Okay. That was joint mobility. So we got a single leg, knee chest. We'll open up here. Now these are my favorite. I'm just trying to get them a little bit loaded here. Favorite part of the warm-up, and the reason why we've set out the 3 cones as we did initially. How do you turn autoplay off on YouTube? That's okay. Okay. Okay, so these are our dynamic stretches. So for our dynamic stretches, we're going to do walking stretches for 15 meters and then sprint 15 meters after that. So you'll see here, the very first dynamic stretch that we will do is, okay, so a little single leg RDL. Let's see. So I got my single leg RDL here. I'll just take one step in between. I'm really trying to get the posterior chain loosened up. These aren't horrible, but not very good. I'm not the most flexible person. So once I get to this cone, what you're going to see is a burst. There you go. Just a nice little sprint. So that's how we're going to be moving going forward. So I did my nice little sprint here, and now I'm onto my quad stretch, which you'll see. So instead of having to walk all the way back, I have a cone here and then still this middle cone and then the cone at the end. So on the way back, I'll go ahead and do my quad stretch. You can just one step in between, looking to stretch the quad hip flexor here. And then again, when I get to this cone, I'm going to do a nice sprint burst to the next line. Oh, let's see. Now we have kneaded chest. We want to get a little bit of our glutes, a little bit of our hammies and hip flexors in the front here. This is probably something everyone has done. Same style. When I get to this cone, I'm going to go ahead and sprint. Now I have cones here, but you can totally just do this on the grass and look for the markings on the field to keep track of where you are. Now, this next one I call a 4-way stretch. I don't know what a lot of people like to call it, but it's really to get the outer glute, the IT band here. This is one variation that you could do. The other one is where you lift and pull up, but I like this one maybe more. Oh, see, I switched up just to show you the other variation, but then I still get to that mark and then I do a nice little sprint out. Then we have Frankenstein's, just a little toe touch. Sprint at that cone. And then I'll move into my calf stretch. Again, fairly important that you set it up a little bit similar to this because I don't want you to have to walk all the way back to the beginning. We're saving so much time by just turning around and coming back the other way. Another important note is take your time to slow down. I'll do my sprint and I'll run well past that cone. Will run off screen. You don't want to try to stop all your motion at once. You want to protect your body and take your time slowing down. Next, we'll do what I call runner's lunge. And for these, I will not sprint when I get to this cone, but I will go to this cone. And a runner's lunge is actually when I just drop this hand inside of this knee. Hopefully the video will clear up for you so you can see it a bit better. There we go. I'll go ahead and incorporate a nice little quad stretch in there as well. You'll see me really dragging this out, getting long, putting my hands inside. We got a runner going by. Get a hip flexor stretch. hip flexor, I'll go ahead and open up, turn as though I'm holding a medicine ball, open up, turn. Just watching these lets me know that I have to do much more of these because these are not so good. Great. So I will then head into what I call my adductor stretch. So I'll step out wide, I'll rock back. Now this one really looks much different than how it feels in person, letting me know that I am not flexible at all in this adductor region. I need to work on that. But that's all it is. 1, 2, 3, I'll face the other way, rock back and forth. 1, 2, 3, I'll face this way, I'll rock back and forth. So those are the dynamic stretching. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that. Four-way stretch. Let's see. Okay, so after the dynamic stretching, we're going to go ahead and move into falling starts, four-way starts, and leg swings. What the heck, man? How do I turn off autoplay on here? I don't even know. Okay, so we got our falling start and fairly easy. So this will be 2 times 30. Okay, so I'll stand up straight and I'll just lean forward, forward, forward until I'm at an angle where I can be at essentially 45 degrees and get a nice falling start. And I'll push. This will be similar to a start as the name suggests, but it won't be anything crazy, 50%, 60%. Let's go ahead and look at that at full speed. Pretty easy. So that's times 2. We're going to do that twice. Next one here is called the four-way start. So if you couldn't see that, so what I did here is I'll hop side, side, front, back, and on the back, I'll go ahead and turn that into a sprint. And I'll do that twice as well. And following all that up is something that every sprinter, runner, jumper, every athlete essentially should do, which are leg swings. So I'll go ahead and keep my hips facing square forward, and I'll do 10 leg swings. And then I'll switch. So that's 10 each side. And then I will face one way and do my inside leg swing. And then turn around, do the other side leg swing. And there I am coaching one of my athletes. What am I telling her? I don't really know, to be honest. Okay, so we've done a lot so far. We've done our jogging series. We've done our dynamic stretching, 4-way start, falling start, leg swings, and now we're going to move into hurdle mobility. So again, very important. Let's see. Very important that you incorporate some hip mobility in there, and there's nothing better, in my opinion, than hurdle walkovers. So I'm going to remain again facing forward. I'm going to keep my heel tucked close to my butt, and I'm going to step over. So I'm going to start and end in the same position, is how I like to say. So you see, I'm starting with this knee up and over the hurdle. Now watch, and then I'm going to let's see, end in the same way. So when I'm on this hurdle, that knee is up. Let's go ahead and rewind here just a little bit. Slow it down. So boom, I'm going to start and end in the same way. So there it is. That's the start. And that's the end. Okay, so those are hurdle walkovers. Then next I'm going to do reverse hurdle walkovers. So facing the other way and stepping back this way, really working out my hips, getting them open. It makes sense to do these again because the best way to warm up your joints, which your hip is a massive joint, is through circular motion. So that's what walkovers are for. And they get your hips strong, and not only flexible, but strong. And please do not skip them, as they are quite important and something that you'll see a ton of professionals doing. Next in our hurdle series are going to be what I call can-cans. So down the sides here. It's possible to go down the middle. I just didn't want to fall. So that's the truth. I was also working out with my athlete, and I'm not sure she was able to do them down the middle. So we're going on the side. I'm still going over the hurdle, as you'll see in a second. But totally possible to do down the side. Now for can-cans, we go down this way and back this way. If you notice, my left leg is leading the whole way. So of course that means at some point going back, my right leg will lead. So just keep that in mind. Okay, those are can-cans. And then next we have straight leg can-can. So same concept, except for I'm going to keep my legs straight. Again, if my left leg is leading the charge, then on the way back, my right leg will lead. See, pretty simple. Okay, after can-cans, we're going to do over-unders. So for over-unders, let me see, just making sure. Okay. For over-unders, you just want to make sure that you have a hurdle that's at the lowest and then a hurdle that's at it's the second to the highest. So there's one more that I could raise it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to step over and then step through and rock back forth, and then step over and step through. These are again about hip mobility here. Really fun way to do this. So in this series, I went and stepped over with my right, stepped through with my left. So you guessed it, on the next series, I'm going to step through with my left, step over with my right, through with my left, over with my right. Now I'm facing that way. Okay, awesome. Now we're moving on to ankle hops. So these are ankle hops. I want to keep my legs straight. I want all the motion coming from my ankles. And I believe I'm going to the middle cone. Or am I going all the way down? I forget what I did. Yep, middle cone, and then I'll sprint out. And I'll what does the warm-up say? The warm-up says, okay, so you just do that once. It's supposed to be twice. Can you see the difference here? So this is me. So when my feet spring back, you see my ankles are moving. My toes pull back up to my knee, maybe not well, but they do. And then my athlete, she's not doing horrible, actually. Not a bad job. Having a little bit more trouble pulling her toes back up to her knees. And then I'll go ahead and do single leg ankle hops. So you'll go down and I'm doing right leg here, I believe. Then there she is doing, see that toe is just dragging. Look at her toe drag. Not in the good way of toe dragging. And then if this was a clear video, you would see my toe springs back up. And then I have my left leg. And then you see her left leg, her toe is just dragging along. So what I would like to see is that toe pull back up to the knee for dorsiflexion, not plantar flexion. And then we have alternate leg hops. She's doing a bit more of a straight leg bound, but that's okay. And so even for these, we're turning the second motion into a sprint past the cone. Okay, so we've got our ankle hop series, and now we're going over our drills. Okay, a lot of drills here. So we've got A skips to the cone, sprint. These should be 2 times through. I don't know why my quality is looking like that. Computer's having a bit of problem here. Okay. And now we have B skips. B skips come through clear. So I have my B skips here, and I'm going to try to drive back into the ground underneath me and grab the track. Grab. I think I need to even keep those a little bit tighter like we saw in Noah Lyle's video. And hers actually looked better than mine, I'm not going to lie. Okay. And then C skips, a kind of weird one. that people do different ways. Just working on rhythm. And those are C skips. And then we'll have high knees, which I will open up. And then we'll have straight leg. Oh, the straight leg bounding. Very big piece that people overlook. Cycles. Cycles. And alternating. Okay. So now we're moving into our drills here. Let's see. We've got the drills. We've got A skips, B skips, C skips we've done. Now we're on to high knees and straight leg bound. So we've got high knees here. Notice how tall I am. And then notice when I go to sprint, I stay with my high knee form here. You know, I'm not trying to win a 100-meter dash. I'm just practicing a drill at the moment. So I don't feel the need to try to, barrel forward at this cone. The point is to stay tall, to hit under your hips, to use your arms like you're running. Those are actually kind of lazy arms too. And then you get to the cone and you turn it into a nice big open stride, but never really losing my posture, never losing my form. Now let's see if what she does. Now, horrible high knees, but then look how when she goes to sprint, she's no longer standing up tall. She turns it into a drive phase motion. So we went ahead and we talked about that. Let's see what happens. Let's go back to her form and see how it looks. So hitting under the hips, using arms, not quite swinging her arms forward as much as I'd like, but that's okay for now. Nice, nice, nice. And then she just completely collapses when she goes to sprint. Do you see that? So that's what we want to avoid. So watch her as she gets to the cone. Look at the height of her hips here. She's just floating. Now look at the height of, okay, this is actually a way to see this. Okay, her hips are just below the rail here. You see the rail behind me? That's about where her hips are. And then watch us. They're already, once she decides she's done high kneeing and she goes into her sprint, they're still kind of there. Boom. Now look, they've dropped a foot below and then they're even lower here. So that's what we want to avoid when we turn these into a sprint. Conversely, here I am about at the rail. And then when I turn it into a sprint, I try to stay up. Even I dip a little bit too, but not that bad. Okay. Those are high knees. Next, we're going to straight leg bound all the way down. Now, what I didn't put in straight leg bounds is I will go for 20 and then sprint after. But for these, we're going all the way down. Pulling back underneath my hips, attempting to stay tall, although I don't think they were that tall. They're not bad. It just looks soft, in my opinion, meaning that like I just have to keep doing them to make them crisp. Like, here's what I mean. I don't want to see, speaking of for myself now, there's a lot of like collapsing going on, which makes sense. Like this is the first warm up I've done in a while. I haven't been consistent weight training. So when I hit the ground, there's a lot of give here. Yeah. Just not quite as stiff hitting the ground as I would like to. But if you were to look at it full speed, it looks fine. That's just a way to let me know that I'm, essentially just weaker than I would like to be. So, okay. So moving on from that, so we're going to do our straight leg bounds 4 times. We'll do next a straight leg bound with a right leg cycle. How many times is this? Twice. So you see my right leg comes through in a cycle. You see, when she does her, she's never really, she's not accelerating through the motion. Nothing really happens when she goes to cycle. And whenever I go to cycle, I pick up a little bit of speed and then pick up a little bit of speed and then I'm accelerating the whole way through. Now let's look at it in slow-mo and see how good or bad it looks. Not bad. Under the hips, under the hips, under the hips, boom. Up tall. Pretty good. Not gonna lie. Pretty good. Now we've got my client here. Look at her leg that's not cycling. It's very passive. It's just hitting the ground, but not really going anywhere. And then that cycle leg also is cycling through nice, but when it hits the ground, it's just there. It's just dead. When my leg hits the ground, it's still pulling me through. I'm still traveling with that foot. When she hits the ground, it just dies where it is. Okay, then straight leg bounds left. So same as right. You just cycle the left. And then straight leg bound alternate. So boom, I'm alternating between cycles. What is it? So each of those were 2 times 30. And then we have my build up. So this is going to be the very last thing you do is going to be build up. So you start back. I believe it's 4 times 80 meter build up. So you slowly build up to 80% and hold your speed. So I'm going to start back here. I'm going to just really start back jogging. I'm not jogging, but striding up nice and tall, very springy with each step, and then slowly increase my speed from, I don't know, what was that, 30% to 80%, and then just hold. Now, that is the sprinter's warm up. Again, I believe it's a pivotal thing that you should integrate into your training system. It's a way to practice fundamentals of sprinting. Everything we did and that we covered today is what the professionals are going to be doing. It's going to help every day for you to work on being up tall, striking the ground underneath you, working on rhythm and flow, and relaxation. So now we have film review. The warm up will be available inside of our Speed Lab school here, as well as if you want to submit your film for review. So this is one of my athletes, and we're going to review this start. I already went over it a little bit with him. Now, I'm pretty certain he doesn't have blocks. Oh, there are blocks. Oh, that's what it was. He's in his flats. So you shouldn't be doing block starts in flats. That was one of the things that I told him. There's a big false step here. Meaning, he's starting himself off. But then look at that small step. So he gets a nice drive actually out of the blocks, or a decent one. Arms look decent enough. Nice extended, triple extended back foot there. You could see, look at the arm that's pushing off. That's swinging through so that the leg can then push off. But then look how short that step is. That knee's not coming up nearly high enough. That arm's not driving back far enough. And if I had to guess, I can't really see it, but I bet that leg isn't triple extended. But then he does well enough here. And then this leg, again, doesn't quite. So it looks like there's a problem with the one leg not coming all the way through. I think it's almost like a gallop rather than a sprint. I think he's just trying to move too fast and hasn't done enough slow reps with perfect form before he tries to go all out. And that's what I shared with him. Oh yeah, I see. So he just stepped out to the side there. Did you see that? So this leg that's still on the pedal, the right leg, is going to step out to the side, and then that's going to the quickest path from point A to point B is straight. So if you step out to the side, that's going to waste you time. I bet you he steps out to the side again. Okay. So that's what I said about this clip. He shared another clip with me. Him versus his friend who doesn't run, but it's just working out with him. Nice little 2-point stance action. We got to work on low heel recovery with him. And relaxing. Look at how tight his shoulders are. All stuff that I've told him before. I just haven't seen him in a while, so it's a bit challenging to keep up with the same good posture, the same good form. It takes a step back initially, and now that's a sign that he's unbalanced here, and that's a problem. Steps back to then launch forward. 2-point start. I get it. Yeah. So the right foot looks like it's just kind of landing, whereas the left foot looks like it's striking and attacking and pulling back. Again, left foot comes back, right foot just lands. Left foot shoots back, right foot just lands. Boom. So it looks like a very uneven start. And I think he's just trying to, again, do a lot of the things that we discussed, but do them way too fast and not have slowed down enough to make it consistent. Same, different footage here. Yeah, you could totally see it from this angle, the lopsidedness with which he does his starts. Again, I really think there's something up with that right foot. It's coming out to the side. It's dead when it hits the ground. It's not pulling back underneath him. And it's causing him to be wobbly and rocky. He's very tense. What was that? What did I just see? Look at the left arm. Watch the left arm. It shoots back well, but then watch when it comes. Boom. It almost throws him off to the side. So you see his friend here that is, just kind enough to work out with him. Look at his starting position. This arm is across his body. And then when he goes to sprint, those arms swing out to the side. I think that my client here in the white actually does something not too dissimilar. It's on a smaller scale, but I think it's a little bit too wide and to the side, like he's rocking back and forth here. And then because of the right foot when it hits, right? Good push, dead. And so because it's a dead step, look at how much he has to compensate by driving his left knee through. Now, that's not actually a horrible left knee coming through here, but the right doesn't do anything close to the same. And so then that's where you get the unevenness and this feeling that you're out of sync, because you literally are out of sync. What a good friend to come out and do some track workouts with you. So a ton of work to be done with him, but he's already made great progress. Probably he'll end up doing some indoor meets. And at the moment, I told him just to basically slow down and do things perfect rather than trying to do them so fast. Oh, this is actually another thing that I wanted to cover. This is her, my client's sister. I actually trained them both. And wow, what track is this? This looks beautiful. Look at this track. There should be a rate my track series, because look at this. First of all, is that real grass? That's real grass. If that's real grass, like, you already get so much more points from me for having real grass, despite the fact that I have extreme allergies. Look at these trees. Beautiful. That's some California stuff right there. The track itself, there's better surfaces. There's Mondo, right? This is an all-weather track, so at least give them that. But yeah, rate my track, huh? That's a good one. Look at what is that? Little house? Somebody lives back there? They just get to come out here and run? Huh, very cool. Okay, so what do we have here? It looks like either A skips or B skips. What she got going on? B skips. Let's watch normal first. That right arm needs to be a bit more involved. She looks out of sync as well. Like this, especially in this entering frame, like this knee is going to come up, but the arm is straight. So I don't know how that happens. And then the arm bends, and then the leg comes down, and then the arm comes down. So rather than it happening all at one, same time, her legs are leading the charge. Which is of course, right? We're runners, so our legs are obviously important, but it's not that we get to dismiss our arms. They do a huge amount of the work for us. And these arms and legs are out of sync. Can you see that? I think they actually get in sync at the end of this. But look, you see how that leg moves down before the arm even moves down? Watch. Look at that. So leg up. And then look at this arm. They should be same, moving at the same. The leg is already moving down. And then that arm comes down at the last second. See, that leg is coming down. This arm is still up here. So that just comes with a little bit of practice, a little bit of rhythm, definitely a ton of reps. We'll go over that. So those were C skips. And then her favorite thing to do is to send me videos in the dark that you can at night. So I think the C skips. Oh, these are A. We missed these. We went straight to the B skips. Yeah. So these are A skips. Got a nice little rock quarry over here. What even is this? What school is this? They look a bit more in sync, but there's still a little bit of delay between when the leg decides to move and when the arm decides to move. I would also tell her to lean forward just a little bit here. But overall, she just needs reps and practice with rhythm and patience. Okay, so the warm up is live and in the description if you're interested. The drills are live and in the description if you're interested. So that was pretty good. Thanks for stopping by. If you did stop by, and I'll see you next time.